Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Championship Sunday of the 2026 Chiefs Challenge. And we have arrived at Lions Ballpark for the semifinals. My name is Peter Loubardias, alongside Blair Setford, to bring you all the action. And Blair, all I was thinking about on the drive in this morning was, could we potentially have a repeat of last weekend's semifinal between these two teams? It was spectacular for one team more than the other, but Hill United trailed in that game 6-0 before they roared back to win the game 8-6 on a Lenny Viavazo walk-off, and they've met here once already, as you well know, with Hill United winning 7-2.
Yeah, it was an interesting game yesterday. Hill United seemingly all in control. Marco Diaz picked up the win, but it was far from a masterpiece. He's not going to be hanging that one in the living room anytime soon. And there's the batting order, Peter, for JDT, and we'll pick up that thread. It was interesting from Braden Ducharme. He picked up a home run late for JDT. Laskowski had an RBI single. Aleo Munoz continues to hit the ball 2 for 4, but the Chiefs mostly in control, unlike last week when they had to come from behind.
Well, there is a significant story for Hill United. The captain and longtime veteran shortstop, Shane Bolin, dealing with a bit of an injury, and he is a late scratch. So Justin Schofield gets the ball on the mound. He's a perfect 5-0 this year. 34 2/3 innings. He's given up 9 runs, 14 hits, and he struck out 80 batters. He will throw to 40-year-old veteran catcher Bruno Matroni. In the outfield today, in center it's Nick White, Quentin Bruce in his regular left spot, and in right field, the 5-tool player in Alan Pecker. Blake Hunter is at third, which will move Khalil Luna is at shortstop. Tony Gonzalez plays second base today, and Pipolo Lopez is at first base. And delighted to have you with us no matter where you're looking on. And yes, we will see Yan Carlos Gonzalez when the Chiefs bat, as Schofield set to deliver the game's first pitch to the leadoff man Gendry Torres, and misses up with a rise ball. In last weekend's semifinal, Schofield threw 2 2/3 against JDT, did give up 5 runs on 4 hits, struck out 3, and did not walk anyone.
Gendry had a couple of hits yesterday for JDT, Peter, to help get them into this semifinal spot. JDT is one of the only 2 clubs, along with the Gremlins, to make Championship Sunday in all 3 now of the upcoming Big 4 tournaments. Back-to-back here in Ontario. Started with the Bear Creek Classic.
They were the co-champions of that because the championship final on the Sunday was rained out in the 4th inning.
Yeah, it was 1-0 lead for the Gremlins at the time, but they didn't finish that one. Made the Final 4 at the Canada East qualifier last week, and here on Championship Sunday again.
Well, Hill United were the champions at the Canada East tournament last weekend, as Torres 4 for 9 here at the Chiefs Challenge with a double, a triple, and 2 runs batted in. He was 0 for 3 against the Chiefs in their round-robin meeting. As Schofield shakes off a sign or two. And just misses with a low rise outside, which Bruno Matroni hangs on to it for a long time. It will not change the call.
No, I have yet to ever see an umpire change after a catcher has held the ball there for a second look. It's Steve Gallagher behind the plate. David Lee is out at third base, and Rick Havercroft, the veteran from Michigan, at first.
The payoff on its way, and this is indeed strike three. So Schofield sits down Gendry Torres, who was as fine a hitter as anyone at last year's World Cup in Prince Albert. And here's longtime Argentine national team member Federico Eder, who's 7 for 33 on the year. He's doubled and driven in a couple.
Fetty's made the shift to the outfield, Peter. Longtime infielder, shortstop, second base, and adjusting to life with grass under your feet.
In the air for Quentin Bruce, and dealing with the sun, you could see it splashing off his glasses. And quickly, there are two away.
Yeah, the sun right into left field right now. Quentin Bruce will have to battle that. Maybe Khalil Luna if there's a high fly ball. We've seen a couple of those here this weekend too.
This guy was all-world last year in Mankato, and he is off to some start in 2026. He is a Leo Munoz, a huge off-season addition, played for STK last year at the ISC World Tournament. Munoz already, Blair, has 20 hits. He's 20 for 47 with 4 doubles, a triple, 3 home runs, and he's driven in 20 runs.
Well, he had a massive World Tournament, Peters, you talked about, led the World Tournament in RBIs and home runs last year, and he's just picked up where he left off. 2 for 4 in the game yesterday against the Chiefs with one of those doubles.
As Schofield has retired the first 2 batters. And he, in his own right, is off to a very fine beginning as he works to the inside of Munoz.
One of the biggest differences this year with Schofield that I've seen, Peter, is when he makes a mistake, it's not getting hit out of the park. That happened a fair bit last year. He'd make one bad pitch the whole game, and it would get hit out of the park. This year, that's not the case.
As he misses outside to Munoz. And a hitter's count for number 43. And this guy has power to all fields. Top of the first inning as a pair of semifinals underway here at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe, Ontario. And what a glorious morning for a couple of key ball games.
It has been absolutely spectacular. The fastball gods have blessed us with absolutely perfect weather here in Simcoe. It's warm, but it's not oppressively hot. Our audience will remember last year it was over 40 degrees with the humidex, and we actually had an umpire go down with heat exhaustion in the championship game. I don't think that that's going to happen this year.
So the full count to Munoz, and again, a good hack at that as he drives it straight back to the screen. In fact, in that game, with the incredible, almost dangerous heat in reflecting, Schofield had to leave a game when he went in search of fielding a pop-up and literally couldn't do it. And fortunately for both the umpire and Justin, everything was okay. But it was some kind of hot on Championship Sunday at this event a year ago, which was a week earlier. And Schofield paints the corner beautifully. A couple of strikeouts and a 1-2-3 top of the first defensively for Hill United. Will set their batting lineup and the JDT defense when we return on the home of softball, Softball Premier TV. Hill United, the number 1 seed at the Chiefs Challenge and reigning champions of it from a year ago. The lineup looks this way, and we made reference to the fact that Shane Bolin is not in the game.
Shane not available for just a bit of a nagging injury that he is dealing with. Alan Pecker moved up to that leadoff spot, Peter, and yesterday 2 for 4 against JDT. A triple, a single, and 2 runs scored. Just another average day at the park for Alan Pecker.
And the starting pitcher is...
He was really good the first time through the order against the Chiefs. Lopez got into one and sent it 1.5 miles into the trees, but just ran out of gas the second time through the order. And they made the change to Pami Madzalukwa. Chiefs got to Pami late in that one.
Alan Pecker has had a solid weekend. He's 4 for 10 at the Chiefs Challenge. Double, triple, home run, and 2 runs batted in. He was 2 for 4 in the 7-2 triumph over JDT. A high rise. This a tough play coming on and can't get there. And the exquisite base running of Alan Pecker has him at second with a leadoff double.
Well, and this is the thing with speed. It never slumps. That was a real long run for Fetty Eater. Tried to slide into the catch, but couldn't make it. And the second he left his feet, Alan Pecker made the decision that he was going to go for 2. Didn't break stride around the base, and easy into second.
Blair, it might be difficult to say, but I will anyway. Does anyone run the bases much better than the guy at second base? As Nick White drops down a bunt, and he's going to beat that out with his great speed.
Well, this is the threat here with the Chiefs at the top of the order. You change it up a little bit because Bolin's not available. You bring these guys up from the bottom to the top. I talked about it all day yesterday. Jeff Ellsworth wants to put pressure on defenses to make perfect plays to get his team, and it's really hard to be perfect.
So the Chiefs in business early on, runners at the corners, no one out for Brad Ezekiel. And there goes White. They'll throw down, and Nick White with another stolen base, the 22-year-old speedster from Truro, Nova Scotia.
Well, coming across and stepping in front of the bag was Ion, but he just caught the ball. He didn't make any kind of play. Now, Alan Pecker was only a step or 2 off the bag. That was basically a straight-up steal. And again, Ellsworth has been having guys in motion all weekend.
Gonzalez just missing outside to Ezekiel, who's 10 for 39 on the year. He's doubled 4 times, hit 3 home runs, including the game winner in the 8th inning of last weekend's Canada East final. What a ball game that was, and 8 innings between the 2 rivals, the Chiefs and the Bear Creek Gremlins, and it was Ezekiel's home run that won that game in the 8th.
Yeah, you can find that one on social media. An 0-2 rise ball from Jack Besgrove, and went a long way off the bat of Bradley Ezekiel.
Ezekiel on the weekend, 3 for 9. He's doubled twice and driven in 3. And he's in a great spot to open the scoring in the game. As Gonzalez looks down at the watch for the pitch. And Ezekiel with a good eye, able to stay off the late moving rise ball.
No question about the stuff that Juan Gonzalez has got. It's whether he's able to control that and command that from game to game.
Fouled, sprayed, and probably in the other diamond, where the other semifinal is going on, and we'll try to keep you abreast of it. It is the Bear Creek Gremlins taking on, would you say, the somewhat surprising Sandlot Merchants?
100%. That was a big upset last night. Sandlot 7-4 winners over the Northeast Drillers.
Alan Pecker will score easily, sliding in. And it's a walk, and Ezekiel almost had the opportunity to move up.
And right there, Peter, okay, you give up the walk to Brad Ezekiel, but you can't wild pitch it to the screen with one of the fastest guys in the game on third base. That's a free run for the Chiefs. And with Schofield, with Diaz, we haven't seen Tyler Randerson here this weekend, so he's here, but he hasn't made an appearance on the field, so I don't know if there's any health concerns or if it just hasn't been his time.
Oh, Tyler got twisted up and had to leave a game last weekend in Mitchell.
So he's not been recovered then, because he has not thrown a ball either in a bullpen or in a live game. Colin Walsh was added to the roster for the tournament, and he pitched 2 innings Friday night, but we haven't seen Walsh since either.
So Quentin Bruce, Ezekiel, a hit and run as Bruce fouls off the inside pitch, the 30-year-old from Grand Valley, Ontario. 4 for 13 this weekend. He's homered and driven in 7.
Yeah, he had an RBI single against the Redmen the other day, and I've never seen somebody so unhappy with an RBI single. It was a pitch that Quentin thought he should have handled more. He got the single, slammed the bat down, chucked the equipment over to the fence, and just a little bit of frustration from Quentin that he didn't take that pitch out of the yard.
In the Chiefs' quarterfinal 10-0 triumph over the Midland Explorers yesterday evening, he was 2 for 2 in the game with a home run and drove in 4. Has handled the bat pretty well in a couple of hit-and-run scenarios, but now there's 2 strikes on the left fielder. And look out, Bruno Matroni.
He's in the wrong spot, even all the way down there.
I love it when they change.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. Could have done that a couple pitches ago. He smiles and laughs at us on the way by.
That's awesome. I love it. That's just intelligent. That's all that is. But it's still humorous. So Bruce trying to drive a ball in play and looks at strike 3, a rise ball that catches the top part of the zone. And that's a really important strikeout for Gonzalez. And here's Bruno Matroni. He was banged up in the game against JDT last weekend in the semifinal in Mitchell. Wasn't 100% sure this week about his availability as a result, but what do you know? And he has been very productive on the weekend. He's batting .500 here in Simcoe with a home run and 3 runs batted in.
Yeah, he drove one out of here Friday night. I was actually surprised to see him in the lineup, Peter, that giant bag of ice that he had on the wrist coming out of Mitchell.
Ezekiel will slide in, does not draw a throw. Probably right now, the 39-year-old veteran thinking, did I really need to go down?
He is looking at the bench saying, why didn't anybody tell me to stay up?
That's exactly what the case is, for sure. 1 out, runners at second and third, and a run in this semifinal game, and a changeup and a good one.
Yeah, good pitch there from Gonzalez. He's going to the change of speed early here. He's thrown a couple already, getting them down into the high 50 range. Devin McCullough last night got multiple ones into the 40s.
And follows that change up with the big high rise. So a couple of consecutive strikeouts for Gonzalez, who's about to face another one. And Tony playing over at second. Lenny Villavazzo unavailable. He turned a knee last weekend on a base hit in the championship final versus the Gremlins, unavailable.
Yeah, Lenny's on the...
And another pitch that gets away. This one probably a pass ball. And when it's Nick White or Alan Pecker, they're going to score. And it's 2-0 as they've scored both the runs now in that fashion.
Yeah, wild pitch and pass ball on this one, and it's a tough way to give up runs for JDT here in the bottom of the first inning. The Chiefs, as they've done just about all weekend, jumping out early.
Gonzalez hits it high, but not deep enough, and Eder dropped it.
That draws some oohs and ahs from the crowd as both teams were making their way to their respective benches. Ezekiel trots home with the third run of the game for the Chiefs. And talked about Fetty Eder, who's a converted infielder. He's been very solid out there this year defensively for JDT, but maybe just the Sunday morning brain lapse and clanks it.
Looked to be a certain out, number 3, but instead it's E9. And it's a big moment as it continues the rally, and it cashes in, as Blair alluded to, another run. So 3-0, Hill United has broken open, and it hasn't been in the traditional type way.
No, there's been a couple of balls that were hard hit, but the walks, a little bit of pressure on the defense, and then an error here, a wild pitch, pass ball, and that is all added up to 3 runs and counting.
And even the Alan Pecker double that started the inning was not a hard hit ball. It was a bit of a flare that fell in front of Federico Eder in right field, and Pecker's speed allowed him to turn as he makes his way down to first base.
Well, the woes here for Juan Carlos Gonzalez continue. Should have been out of the inning, so all of this is now in unearned territory, and sometimes these mistakes can snowball.
Pipolo Lopez inserted into the lineup when Shane Boland was determined to be unavailable. Been a nice weekend here in Simcoe for the 32-year-old from Tijuana, who has a couple of home runs. And one of those home runs came in the 7-2 triumph over JDT as he swings and misses on pitch number 1.
Pipolo Lopez, Peter, the 2 home runs that he has hit here this weekend have been majestic.
He has 4 of those on the year. He's driven in 12 and has an opportunity to cash one in and will ground out to Braden Ducharme to end the inning, but in a bit of an odd fashion. 1 run on a wild pitch, 1 on a pass ball, and 1 on an error. Hill United leads by 3 in the semifinal on Championship Sunday at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe.
Oh, wait, but good to see you, Mike.
Catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Hill United in front, 3-0. You get a nice overhead look at the ballpark, Lions Park here in Simcoe. As Jeff Lyons will lead things off for JDT. He's off to a nice beginning. And what is going on beside us in the other semi, Mr. Setford?
Well, Peter, the aforementioned Sandlot Merchants are taking on the number 2 seed, the Bear Creek Gremlins. This is the second time they've met. The Gremlins, big shutout winners yesterday over the Sandlot squad. But in the rematch here, 0-0 into the second inning. Kuba Osichka on the board for the Gremlins and Julian Fernandez for Sandlot.
Jeff Lyons hitting .333 early in the year with a double, a home run, and 9 runs batted in. He is the brother of Hill United athletic therapist and former player himself, and Craig Lyons.
Jeff 1 for 3 yesterday in the game against the Chiefs. Did come around to score, singled and scored in the 5th. Had a walk as well, sorry.
In the 8-6 Hill United semifinal win last weekend in Mitchell, he drove in a couple of those runs that paved the way to a 6-0 lead, only to have Hill United storm back and win it 8-6 on a Lenny Viavazo walk-off homer in the 7th. Schofield misses away to Lyons.
Yeah, I was at the other end of the park, Peter, and was watching that game on Game Changer, and at 6-0, I thought, wow, this is going to be a big upset. And then within 20 minutes, it was 6-5, and the comeback was on.
Lyons tried to stay off it, just unable to, as he'll kick some dirt away, step out, and reset himself at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jeff with just 4 at-bats at last year's ISC World Tournament, so he has to feel awfully good about the way he is swinging it early in 2026.
Well, not dissimilar to the Chiefs, the Express, the Gremlins. JDT has got a very impressive bench, and you're going to need to keep swinging the bat well and producing to stay in the lineup. There's some challenges for Jamie Simpson and Mike Taylor and Larry Lynch in putting lineups together.
Well, those are nice problems to have. And I would say that JDT, their additions early, they were right in the mix in that top 5 or 6 a year ago, but it's different this time.
Yeah, they, to me, are a clear number 3 in the rankings right now. The Chiefs, the Gremlins, and then in my books, at least anyway, it's JDT. They've got a couple of wins over the Drillers. I think that would elevate them. And there will be new ISC rankings out this coming week. I'm told the ranking committee has to get them in by Monday or Tuesday. And Greg Neidick and Rich Haldane at the head of that committee, they'll be getting things over to us to get posted on social media on the website later this week.
So Lyons with a quality out bat wins the battle with a leadoff walk. And here's shortstop Guadalupe Ayon from Mexicali in Mexico.
I've been talking about this guy all weekend, Peter. Sorry. He really impresses me, not just defensively. He's got a great glove out there, but a terrific arm, great range, left, right, especially going to his right into the hole. And the stick is right there, too.
13 for 41. He's homered twice and driven in 12. Asked to sacrifice bunt, and the bunt attempt off his own body in the batter's box is Schofield working with a 3-0 advantage. And when you're the team in the driver's seat after you have a big inning, what you would always love to do is put up a 0 in the next half if possible.
Yeah, looking for the shutdown here. Interesting that they're playing small ball, down 3 early.
And Ayon, he is hit.
That'll hurt.
So a good beginning to the inning for JDT. As Ayon trying to shake it off. And you can tell It took a real bite out of him. Here's Justin Laskowski from Warman, Saskatchewan, just outside of Saskatoon. 9 for 32 on the year is Justin. Played for Canada again this year at the Pan American Championships in February and March.
Justin was 2 for 3 in the game yesterday, had an RBI single in the 5th.
3 for 6 in the first two meetings of these two teams. Had a hit and a run batted in the semifinal a week ago. And here they are colliding again. This time, Hill United jumps out in front. And Schofield jumps out in front in this at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. No one out after a walk. And Ayon was hit by a pitch.
Not the best bunt attempt there from Justin. Did not move the feet in the box, really just turn the body. You want to get the feet squared up too and really get head on with the ball.
Even in this game, at the highest level, which is exactly what we're watching in front of us, bunting is not what it once was,
no.
And it's become a bit of a lost art.
Yeah, those words get used a lot when it comes to bunting. Those who can do it seem to be able to do it well, but there are a lot of attempts, and you can just tell guys are not called upon to do it very often anymore.
On the ground, a bounder. Lopez has to hustle to beat Laskowski to the bag, and not the conventional way if you went up there in search of a sacrifice, but gets the job done. The only thing is it costs you a time at bat, even though you did your job.
Yeah, exactly. That it was basically a swinging bunt there by Laskowski. Both runners advance, and this is the guy you want up if you are the JDT First Energy squad. You want Jonathan Lynch here at the plate. In the 7 spot, but he has been on fire this weekend, has hit the ball well.
3 for 13 here at the Chiefs Challenge.
Well, those 3 hits have been big.
Does have a couple of runs batted in. And Lynch stare back in his own right as Schofield finds an outside corner. Longtime member of the United States national team. Really good fielder, too, is Jonathan Lynch. He's from Missouri. That's how they say it down there, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
That's my best effort on a
You're
early
pretty
Sunday
close,
morning.
I think. Not that I have spent a lot of time in Missouri, but there's a couple of guys here from that neck of the woods. David Lee, umpire from Chesterfield, Missouri.
Which is a beautiful suburb of St. Louis. In case you are wondering, a lot of St. Louis Blues hockey players live in that area.
Do they?
Yes, they do indeed.
I'll resist the urge to ask if it's next door to coffee table or armchair.
I think you just went 2 steps too far. You just did. But it's good. People are thinking it, so. Now, if you're in the right demo to even know what a Chesterfield is.
That is a possibility,
right?
too, isn't it?
Yeah, well, you have to think about those things, I guess, as we get a little older. Blake Hunter with an unbelievable double play to end the inning. That is some reaction on the hot dipping liner off the bat of Lynch.
It's the presence of mind, not only to make the catch, but watch him scramble to get to the base, tags the base, and doubled off is Jeff Lyons, and there's nothing Lyons can do.
Great defensive work. Helps Hill United out of a jam in the second. They'll bat when we return to semifinal Sunday at the Chiefs Challenge.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Three to nothing it remains, but that could have been different except for this fabulous play by Blake Hunter. Diving, and as you mentioned, Blair, just great ball sense and presence to be in the spot and tag the bag to end the inning.
Oh, just some fantastic glove work there by Blake Hunter.
Khalil Luna, a newcomer to Hill United in 2026, and he has swung the bat pretty well this weekend. The youngster from Argentina, who had a huge U23 World Cup. It's 10 for 19 at that event.
Argentina had one bad inning, Peter, and it cost them the game against Czechia, and they ended up in the placement round. Full value for it. They went undefeated through the placement round, finished ahead of Canada in 7th place, and Khalil Luna, Uchi Biondi leading the way.
Talking about countries that have, in the last 12, 13 years, they're as good as any country on the planet, and they continue to arguably produce more world-class players than any other country.
Well, there was a trip down memory lane for me personally here this weekend, Peter, because players like Pablo Migliavaca, Francisco Lombardo, Juan Cruz Zara, I'm forgetting a bunch of guys here who were all part of that U19 team that came to the ISC World Tournament in 2012. They would go on to win the U19s in 12 and in 14, and it was the core of that team. They added Huemo Mata as Luna down on strikes here, leading off the home half of the second. They added Huemo Mata, Ramon Godoy along the way, but that team, the core of it, won the World Cup in 2019 in Prague.
And Alan Pecker, on the topic of terrific players from Argentina, he led the game off with a bloop double and then would score on a wild pitch. As Hill United has jumped out early, Pecker fouls that away on the opposite side of the diamond.
And Peter, just watching the other semifinal, Gremlins jump out to a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the second, a double by Cole Evans, and then singled in by Zenon Winters.
As Pecker tries a surprise bunt attempt, but missed. There are several players in the field and at the Chiefs Challenge that you could call five-tool players. The guy at home plate for the Hill United Chiefs is absolutely in that category. But it's a nice start for Gonzalez, who has his fourth strikeout of the morning and back-to-back in the bottom of the second.
Well, Alan Pecker will thank us for the curse of the broadcasters. The moment we big somebody up is the moment they usually get rung up on 3 pitches.
Nick White, not even quietly, but he's batting over 500 after that bunt single.
Yeah, I was looking at the Chiefs' stats in prep for the tournament. Limited at bat, well, not even limited, just fewer at bats than Tony Gonzalez. But Nick White at the top of the batting average list for the Chiefs coming into the event.
18 for 34 now after the bunt single here. He has a hit in every game he's played in this weekend. He's 6 for 8 at the Chiefs Challenge with a home run and 2 runs batted in.
I remarked on this yesterday. Laskowski, too deep for Nick White. He's already dropped down a couple of bunts for hits. One yesterday, one today. And if I'm Laskowski, I've got to be in at least 8 more feet.
Well, any ball on the ground to that side of the diamond, Nick White has a chance to be safe. I say it every show. He goes the other way, pulls it, and nice hands by Jeff Lyons. A 1-2-3 inning defensively for JDT. They'll bat and trail by 3 here in Simcoe.
Dream catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Three to nothing. 3 runs in the bottom half of the first inning. The difference, Jonathan Lynch, Braden Ducharme, and Dallas Cornelius, 2 up in the top of the third. Blake Hunter with a special play to end the top of the second, or this could be a very different game complexion-wise. Is Ducharme, another talented young player from Wisconsin, member of the United States national team. He's from Hudson, Wisconsin. He's 11 for 34 on the season. And he has homered here, and the home run he hit this weekend was against the Hill United Chiefs.
Yeah, he got into one against Marco Diaz yesterday, got JDT on the board. Kind of came out of nowhere. Diaz, again, it wasn't a masterpiece yesterday, scattered 8 hits, but was not expecting a home run, and it was a bit of an opposite field shot, too, off the bat of Braden Ducharme. Spent a couple of years with the Ostrander Norsemen, moved up to JDT last year.
And I think it's fair to say that he's more well-known for his work with the glove and his speed. But the hitting this year has been at a quality level.
Well, Team USA has got a hole at shortstop. Zach Shaw, the presumptive heir to that spot, he's assumed that position with the Northeast Drillers with the retirement of Cam Schiller. But long-term, I think Ducharme is somebody that they're going to be looking at in that middle infield.
Well, in light of the fact that the next Men's World Cup isn't until 2029, a lot of things are going to look different for many national teams, especially Canada and the United States, because they're the more veteran groups, really, than a lot of the other countries. A leadoff walk for Ducharme.
Peter, the big advantage there for the United States is Marco Diaz. 23 years old, and he'll be the core of that team for the next 2 cycles. Maybe even more.
If he stays healthy, there's no question about that. And, the same can be said about Australia with Besgrove, and now Mexico and the emerging 20-year-old in Carlos Parra.
They're going to be a powerhouse, and they don't even have all the eligible players.
Cornelius, a bunt, barehanded is Schofield, and handles it very well.
That is a much improved part of Justin Schofield's game. There was a time when that overhand throw was a bogey for Schofield. Much like everything else, he has practiced and worked so hard at it. I don't know if there's anybody who works harder than Justin Schofield.
There are a lot of people that play sports. This guy truly loves the game. He studies the game. I've remarked on a couple of occasions, and he still has many quality years in front of him. At some point, and I know he's running the U9 league back in his hometown in Nova Scotia, but he will make if he would like to, a wonderful coach, and he'd make a fabulous analyst.
Yeah, I enjoy every conversation that I get to have with Justin, because Justin's Atlantic time zone, I'm Eastern. When we were out in Kelowna, we were both the first to arrive at the breakfast every morning and enjoyed every minute of those conversations. I've known Justin for a long time, teammates on the Toronto Gators over the years, and always great to get a chance to have those quiet conversations.
Yeah, I learn something every time he and I chat, and I waste no opportunity to pick his brain about absolutely everything, technically, pitching, how he works to hitters. So he is a very, very bright guy as he faces Gendry Torres.
Peter, update on the second semifinal. Sandlot have tied it up 1-1 in the top of the third, so they'll go to the home half. The Gremlins back at the plate. This Sandlot squad, they are scrappy.
Well, they were the ninth place team at the ISC last year. They had a 3-2 record. Pitcher Eric Chaparro, a big part of that, and he has been, as far as their success is concerned, this weekend. And you have to love those types of stories. And frankly, in some respects, the ISC needs more of them.
I am real impressed with the way that they go about their business. They show up, they play, they're not flashy. What diamond are we on? Oh, okay, that's great. There's no complaining about not being on Softball Premier. We're on the third diamond. Okay. They put up their own camera. They stream their own games. They do that with their league games. They're doing what they can to help promote the game. I love that. And they're a lower budget team. They bring in Eric Chaparro, but that's really about it. And I'm real happy to see these guys here on Championship Sunday.
Torres struck out versus Schofield to lead the game off. He's 4 for 10 in the event. And he would love to get his team on the board here in inning number 3. And it is another walk, which has been odd. Schofield has rarely given up any of those, Blair, all season long. And now I think that has got to be 2 or 3 in the game.
I've got 3.
I do as well. As Federico Ader steps in with 1 out. And the rise ball is up to the veteran.
Well, this is a good look right here for JDT. They're into the heart of their order. And a couple of guys on base. These chances are not going to come around often for JDT. They've got to capitalize. You really would want to get at least 1 out of this inning. You know, that did not happen at all until you've arrived here, Peter, my friend. You're the ball magnet. No foul balls anywhere near us.
It is kind of true since you and I met a number of years ago, and it always seems to happen when we work together. So I'm starting to think that maybe you're sending some kind of vibe out to the universe.
Well, we've got some
plate umpire is
some barking going on from the Chiefs.
And Jeff Ellsworth is going to come out, and John Stewart's going to come out too.
Well, they did not like the call, and they were very vocal about it here on the infield, and Ellsworth hopped out immediately to settle things down, and then Stewart, who having a bit of a one-way conversation, it looks like, with Steve Gallagher.
John, a longtime head coach of Canada's national men's team, just stepped down after all the activity last year, including the World Cup and the World Games that were played in August in China. And it is still animated.
Well, it's given Ellsworth a extended visit out to the circle, which I'm sure that really was the purpose for Stewart to come out here, was to occupy the home plate umpire and give Ellsworth all the time that he needed to deliver a message to his infield. A two-pronged attack, if you will.
You don't see that a lot.
You don't get that often. Usually it's just the skipper who comes out, and I'll give Steve Gallagher credit for engaging with John. He could have said, no, I'm only talking to him, but it was a civil conversation.
And that draws a lot of respect going both ways when that happens, even in the most heated of moments.
Steve has done, I was just going to say, Steve has done a lot of big events. He traveled down as an exchange umpire to New Zealand in the off-season.
3 balls and a strike to Federico Eder. On the ground, Lopez to second for 1. The turn by Luna is not quite in time. As the Chiefs' defense has been in fine order to begin the game.
Edgar Lopez, real quick on the turn, Peter. He made the, look how fast he made the turn there, and then just getting to the bag was Fede Eder.
There was no hesitation whatsoever. And almost turned into a second straight inning-ending double play for Hill United. And now, the dangerous Alejo Munoz. I believe if you took a look at all the major teams' statistics, no one has driven in 20 runs outside of the guy that's at home plate.
The only guy that'd be close that I can think of would be Tony Gonzalez, but beyond that, you're absolutely right. Both of these guys having tremendous starts to the year.
Yeah, Tony's up to 18 now. Munoz pulls it foul down the first base side. A second straight inning where JDT has the pressure on. In this semifinal game on a almost perfect Sunday morning. And Schofield looking to get out of another jam and finds the outside corner for a strike. Blair, with the development of Schofield, which pitch do you think that he has mastered more of, even since COVID, when he did all that great work?
Oh, without a doubt, it's been the rise ball. He'll work the low rise to great effect, but also that starting at the letters.
And the low rise on display, much to the chagrin of Munoz. As Schofield on the mark and able to battle his way out. It remains 3-0 Hill United in a semifinal in Simcoe, Ontario.
drive. Cause I'm trying to wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change. Watch the game change.
Ezekiel, Quentin Bruce, Bruno Matroni due up. 3-0 lead for Hill United, who have been able to work their way out, Blair, of a couple of tough jams.
Well, credit Blake Hunter in the second inning, and then Schofield gets Munoz looking for the second time in the game, Peter, on that outside low rise ball that we were just talking about to end the inning there in the third. I give a little credit here to Juan Carlos Gonzalez, too. He came right back after 3 in the first with a 3-up, 3-down inning in the second. He's got to keep the door closed now.
Brad Ezekiel walked and scored one of those 3 bottom of the first inning runs. The 9-time All-World member at the ISC tournament, a first-teamer in 2025 when the Hill United Chiefs captured a second straight crown and looking for another three-peat in 2026, of which they were able to put together back in the mid-2010s.
2013, 2014, and painful memory, 2015.
You might have been involved in that on the other side of the fence.
It's a hell of a ball game, but I look a little bit more fondly on the 2016 result.
Oh, really? Hard to imagine why that would be, Tommy Toronto Gator. In tight and in a good spot from Carlos Gonzalez to Bradley Ezekiel. See what he has in store on this championship Sunday. The player of the 2010s. And a base hit for him here to begin the bottom of the third.
Peter's referring to the fan vote that we've been running on ISC Fast Pitch social media. We've had fans voting for their favorite team, player, and pitcher of the decades, all the way from the 1950s all the way to current. Bradley Ezekiel. Wasn't quite a landslide, but convincing win, player of the decade for the 2010s, and most deserving as well. Nick Shales could have gone to him as well.
Quentin Bruce tried to check his swing, but it caught a piece of the bat.
Nick Shales was honored here Friday night, Peter, by the Chiefs in a real nice ceremony that they put together for Nick. They were Toronto Batmen were playing the Bear Creek Gremlins.
Bruce, a diving play by Ducharme, and they do get the out.
Wow. I mean, we talked about the heads-up play over here by Blake Hunter. Diving play by Ducharme, and I was convinced in my mind he was just going to get Bruce at first. But the presence of mind to spin on his belly and then turn and fire a strike to eliminate Ezekiel, the lead runner. Wow. Some heads-up play here. These athletes are just world-class.
Well, my favorite part of this sport is great defense. And it has been on display this morning as a changeup delivered to Bruno Matroni. Bruno struck out his first time up today. He is truly one of the pure glue guys of Hill United. Bruce looking to steal the base, and that is exactly what he's able to do.
Quentin Bruce has swiped a couple here this weekend, and Jeff Ellsworth again putting pressure on the defense, forcing the other team to have to make plays to get his players out. And for the most part, the Chiefs have been successful, whether it's stolen bases, hit and runs, and it's an aggressive brand of fastball that Jeff wants to play with this team with all the tools that he's got at his disposal.
A A second strike to Matrone in a position to cash in a run. And we talked about big producers. RBI-wise, Bruno has 15 already by my count. Hits this on a line, and it's going to get over the head of Munoz for a ground rule double, which will turn 3-0 into 4-0. And there is another run batted in for Bruno Matrone.
Continues to lead the way for the Chiefs. He is just clutch in moments like this. He's done it for the Chiefs. He's done it for Argentina over the years. And when you need a run, when you've got runners in scoring position, Bruno Matrone is the guy you want at the plate.
When you spend some time around a group on a regular basis, as I have the last couple of years, you really get to watch how people intermix with one another. And Bruno is so well respected. One of those guys, he does not have to say very much, but everybody is always around him. And with all of the different Spanish-speaking players on Hill United, he's like a father figure, Blair, for all those guys. Gonzalez towards a gap. And Lynch coming over to make another terrific defensive play as that storyline continues.
Yeah, Tony Gonzalez hits this right on the screws, but Jonathan Lynch ranging over to his right and makes the sliding catch here. Great photography, too.
So Gonzalez foiled of another run batted in himself. And now Blake Hunter, who was hit by a pitch in his first appearance in the batter's box, and he goes around on the rise ball. Tony has 19 runs batted in, so he's right behind Munoz entering the day.
Blake, whether it was a base hit or an out, hit the ball hard all day yesterday. I don't think he's ever hit a ball softly in his life.
No, the 39-year-old from Nanaimo, that's a fantastic point. And he made some play earlier in the game, a double play, and this one gets away from Gonzalez, and with the courtesy runner as Tony stayed in the game for Bruno Matrone, who's driven in the fourth run of the contest, scampered his way 60 feet closer to home plate. Blake 4 for 8 on the weekend here in Simcoe, and he has homered.
The homer, Peter, was a missile, too. It was out of here in a heartbeat.
A no-doubter?
A no-doubter off the bat. I don't think the fielder got a chance to turn around.
Yeah, when they don't even turn, that's when you really know. And that's a really good pitch. Late movement and really a curve rise.
Yeah, had a tail to it, and he gets Blake Hunter swinging through. Young Carlos Gonzalez, they get another one. Do the Chiefs make it 4? Justin Schofield wants to keep that door nailed shut.
Semi-final here at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe on the home of softball, Softball Premier TV.
Watch the game change. game change?
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca.
Jeff Lyons in the leadoff spot for JDT, who trail now 4-0 after a Bruno Matroni ground rule double and a run batted in the bottom of the third. A game that has featured several quality defensive plays and runs that have been scored at times in a different way. One on a wild pitch, a pass ball, an error. That's how Hill United jumped into a 3-0 lead after one.
Peter, I've been covering this team for years at the World Tournament and others, and that is a Hill United Chief hallmark. They capitalize on mistakes by the other team. They've been doing that for their entire, 15-year existence, 15-year existence, and that's been one of the biggest things that separates them from the pack. You give them an opportunity, they take advantage of it.
A 7th title last year, and I don't think there's any question about the fact that their sponsor, owner, operator, Pete Hill, he'd love Hill United, when it's all said and done, to be number one in terms of titles won.
I was told that several years back, that the goal was for this team to knock the Long Beach Nighthawks out of that perch where they have been since the 1970s with 10 ISC World Tournament titles.
In 2026, though, it is going to be, as it always is, Blair, and nobody knows that better than you with all your experience at that event. There is not a lot, in some respects, to separate a few teams here.
Well, we've seen it in some of these events already this year, Peter. Roman Godoy with the Toronto Batmen, he's got to be somebody that you do not want to run into on a Thursday night at the ISC World Tournament if you're the Hill United Chiefs. He's had their number over the years. He's pitched some terrific games against them, including most recently a Friday night game or a Saturday afternoon game that you did, the Bear Creek Classic a couple of weeks ago. Jack Besgrove might be throwing harder this year than he has in the past. He's into the mid-80s now, is Besgrove.
High in the air, Alan Pecker will settle under it for out number one in the fourth. And the reaction, and we're not far from the batter's box at our location. Jeff Lyons knew he just missed it.
Yeah, he hit the bottom of it, not the back of it. A little bit of a breeze has come up too, Peter, and that might be something we'll have to see the fielders contend with.
Guadalupe Aon, the batter. He was hit by a pitch of Justin Schofield earlier in the game. And fouls this. Didn't make its way out of play. Pipolo Lopez attempted to track it down, couldn't quite get to it.
Peter, 2-1 now, top of the fourth in the other semifinal. The Gremlins out in front of the Sandlot Merchants.
Guadalupe Aon, I almost guarantee you he has a baseball background when I watch him field a ball, throw a ball. There's no shortage of tools for number 5 of JDT.
No, here's a guy, we talked about 5 tools with Alan Pecker, Nick White. I think this guy might fit into that category too. Still a bit of a diamond in the rough, but it's looking pretty promising here as it gets polished.
3 for 13 so far this weekend. As time is called.
They thought it was a ball onto the diamond, but I didn't see anything appear.
You don't have to worry about it. You know it's going to come within 3 feet of me as long as you're in the same neighborhood. It is almost borderline terrifying. iPad, Blair and I worked together.
Oh, yeah, in Surrey.
In Surrey, British Columbia a couple of years ago. And it's still working. It's the same one. I'm not sure how. After that ball came off the roof and took a bite out of it, and it's the second time that Aon has been hit.
Well, he's in tight on the plate, and Schofield wanted to brush him back, but that one far too up and in, and a tap on the hip from Bruno Matroni to Aon.
You know, it's always controversial, but I will say this, as a pitcher, against these great hitters, you have to protect your area too. When people are diving, not that Aon was diving out or other guys, you know, but some guys are basically hanging over the corner on pitches. Leskowski towards a gap, and Quentin Bruce makes a wonderful running catch.
He went a long way to track that down, and Aon was all the way up to second base, Peter. He did not think that Quentin Bruce was going to get to that one. He had to turn and get back to first. Maybe a missed opportunity there for Aon to advance on the tag, but in any event, an out recorded, and that runner still at first.
You don't mind that one quite as much, in the sense that if that ball does find a gap, you're going to score. And if you don't approach it that way, you might not. But it does, as you alluded to, cost you an opportunity to have somebody in scoring position. But another fine defensive play in this game. He went a long way for that.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we both like defensive plays like that, because to me it showcases how good these athletes are.
Well put. So Leskowski has a hit taken away from him, and now it's Jonathan Lynch. Drop ball, and a good one from Schofield.
Yeah, that just fell off the table at the plate. Good velocity too, upper 70s from Schofield.
Schofield was telling me a story last weekend or the weekend before about his son Gordon, who's just a treat to watch when he's at the park. He's a really active guy and a good little ball player and hockey player, and isn't afraid to tell Dad when he's not in the low 80s as opposed to the high 70s.
It's tough when you're hearing it from your son.
Hi, Gordon, if you're watching. And Justin's lovely wife. Listen, my son, I work for the Calgary Flames. He's an Edmonton Oilers huge fan. So that'll tell you how well Dad does in that world. As a lazy pop-up handled by Tony Gonzalez as Justin Schofield continues to get the job done. And Hill United with a 4-0 lead in this semifinal here at Simcoe.
Cause I'm trying to wins all around the clock. Never doubt me, boy, I don't stop. Watch the game
fast.
Edgar Pipolo Lopez. Hill United 3 in the first and 1 more in the third to lead this semifinal affair. As that one got away from Carlos Gonzalez.
Missed the camera, though.
Always important. And we have a new addition to the Softball Premier TV family this weekend.
We do as well. Operating the third base camera is Carol and Luciano's daughter,
Lopez, and that is not coming back. A home run is third of the weekend for Pipolo Lopez. And it's 5-0 Chiefs.
Another majestic shot off the bat of Edgar Lopez. He does not hit small home runs.
Having himself a long ball weekend. That's number 3 here in Simcoe. And there wasn't much doubt. It's like a golf.
Well, he's got the home run swing, right? He's got that long swing. It's got an uppercut to it, and he's predisposed to hit them like that. And when he gets it, it goes.
The sound, though, immediately. Now, it's interesting with that sometimes because these balls that are used will change, and they won't travel at times depending on usage. And sometimes it can sound like you're hitting a pumpkin.
They're not like the 1970s where
lifted by Luna deep, but Ader will make that play. If we had a warning track here, that would have been on the track.
Peter, the balls in the days gone by would turn to mush after about 2 innings, and it'd be like hitting rolled up socks. Today, the poly core in the balls keeps them pretty good. You'll get the odd one that will go a little bit soft or out of shape, but by and large, these things are as lively in the first inning and they are in the 7th as well, or even beyond, as the case may be.
Yeah, I agree. And all you have to do is look at where the ball will travel to. I feel like in the last 2 years, I've seen some of the longest home runs I've ever witnessed in this sport, even though I've been watching it since I was about 7 years old. And at a high level, growing up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, some of the balls that you and I would have watched and played with over the years would have been in that variety where they were good for 2 innings. Nowadays, it is, and the bat technology.
Well,
it's another big thing. I mean, there are guys hitting home runs today that would be, Punch and Judy singles hitters when things were different in the 70s, and I'm not going to go down that particular road.
Alan Pecker clobbered it. Foul. That was launched to the point where I don't know where that went.
Well, it was way out of play down the right side, but it was well past what would be the home run fence if you extended it out that far.
That looked like something I hit off a third tee, except not with that kind of pop. This guy's power is off the charts. He hit a ball at the USA Nationals last year in Oklahoma City. It is one of the farthest home runs I've ever witnessed in the sport.
I talked to the guys on the team. They say he's probably the strongest guy in the team. And he hit one out. Normally, he's a dead pull hitter for home runs. He hits it right center, right field for home runs.
Got underneath this one. And there are 2 away.
But Friday night, he hit one out to left center. I don't see him go that way that often. I don't think he got all of it when he hit it out, but he's so strong that it had enough on it to carry the fence.
So Nick White, who has singled in the game. He's 1 for 2. And looks at a called strike.
Yeah, change up down to 57 from Gonzalez. That's a good opener for Gonzalez. Try and throw Nick White off balance here a little bit. Look for him to come back with the hard stuff.
Exactly what occurs, but outside of the zone at 77. Luciano this year has made several really neat additions in terms of the graphics and pitches and exit velocity and all those. He's got a lot of toys.
Yeah, this flight scope device that Luciano has got set up immediately above us is, in my mind, just a game changer for Luciano. It really elevates the broadcast in terms of the technology on display now.
And always more toys coming. Nick White and tried his best to beat it out, but Jeff Lyons steps on the bag. So after a solo home run by Pippola Lopez, the next 3 batters retired. 5-0 Hill United. And on the topic of fives, that's where we're headed when we return on the home of softball, Softball Premier TV.
Do you need a reliable supply of products to run your business? Are you tired of having to deal with multiple suppliers to get everything you need? Absolute Business Supply is your dedicated, full-service business supply partner offering over 400,000 products and unmatched customer service. At ABS, we aren't just selling products. We offer a commitment to building meaningful relationships with our customers, getting to know your business goals so we can provide the best possible solutions for your needs. Find us on the web at absolutebusinesssupply.ca and let us
Welcome to Mont
get
Hill
it.
Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses.
5-0 Hill United leading. Top of the 5th. But if last Sunday showed us anything, games can change, and games can change in a hurry. When these two teams met last Sunday in a semifinal game in Mitchell, it was JDT who jumped out to a 6-0 lead, only to have Hill United fight back and win it 8-6. Now that lead came a little earlier in the game than the 5-0 advantage now. But still 3 at-bats left for a dangerous JDT team. There's Braden Ducharme, the second baseman. Wants to be a base runner, and he will be as it jumps over the temporary home run fence for a leadoff double.
Peter, the only clean inning for Schofield was the first. JDT base runners aboard, second, third, fourth, and now into the 5th. The key advantage or the key difference is the Chiefs have been able to take advantage of those opportunities. JDT have been stifled by Schofield and outstanding plays like the one by Blake Hunter. And that might be the softball premier turning point in the game, Peter. You go back, and if that gets past Blake Hunter, that's rattling around down the left field line. JDT scores probably 2 on that play, and it's a much more competitive ball game.
Do you know what's fascinating about what just occurred? That might be the first hit of the game for JDT.
2 hit by pitches. 1, 2, 3 walks. Fielder's choice. I think you're right.
And, as you mentioned, though, nothing has been clean. Nothing has been easy. And the defense has been a huge contributing factor as Dallas Cornelius swings and misses with nobody out in the top of the 5th. So that's the first hit of the game given up by Schofield. And he didn't miss that zone by a whole bunch. Cornelius, the son of owner and sponsor of 3 major players, maybe closer to 5 when you think about all of what Scott Cornelius is involved in.
The Chippewa Chiefs, related party, let's call it that, are playing in the B final. They're actually leading right now over the Toronto Batmen, 1-0. Yanni Suriel pitching for the Chip Chiefs and Steve Norman for the Toronto Batmen. That game started at 11, and they're just into the 2nd inning. But also the Bear Creek Storm, the Legends team. So that's the 5 that I'm counting.
Gendry Torres fouls that. Pass Coach Taylor over at first. Jamie Simpson, the head man, in the 3rd base coaching box. Both those guys are good players.
Jamie Simpson was a very good pitcher for mostly Owen Sound teams in his day. The Simpson family, of course, legendary in Owen Sound softball circles. Lloyd Simpson, longtime ISC commissioner, and fought for Canadian teams to get back into the ISC and being able to participate in Softball Canada events as well. He and Glenn Verge blazing that particular trail. Mike Taylor played in Owen Sound a number of years. He's in the first base box, played a couple of years with Broken Bow.
That would have been the first time I would have watched him.
And, of course, ISC Hall of Famer Larry Lynch, bench coach for JDT. A lot of depth there.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Justin Schofield. There are some games that you just battle your way through what the situation presents. And that's exactly what Schofield has been able to do. Came into the day with 80 strikeouts and just the 8 walks. It has not been clean, but it's been effective. As Eder, base hit, Ducharme should score and will. The first run for JDT.
Well-placed base hit there by Fetty Eder to get that in the 3.5 hole, past Lopez, past Tony Gonzalez at second. And Braden Ducharme runs well, Peter, and you said scored easily.
So a run batted in for Federico Eder. And JDT on the board. And you know the rallying cry in their dugout, which I mentioned while you were away, checking a few things out around us, including that Batman game you were referring to, was the lead can look safe, but last Sunday showed us that even when teams of this nature play, things can happen, and that things can happen quickly.
Yeah, you get a couple of guys on, you get somebody run into one very quickly, you can put a crooked number up on the board. We saw it here with the Chiefs, scored 3 in the first, really, without anybody hitting the ball hard.
And the guy at home plate, he's more than capable of changing a game with one swing. Alejo Munoz, who's gone down on strikes on a couple of occasions.
Schofield has been able to get Munoz with that low rise to the outside corner, both times looking.
And maybe he goes here this time because he came in with it to begin. That's the exact pitch, but missed away.
Well, you know, Bruno Matroni has already got that in the back of his mind and setting up 2-3 pitches into the future.
When I think about great receivers in the game, Matroni, Nick Mullins. And there are others. But those guys have been doing it at a high level for a long time. And they're both 40 years old, incidentally. Munoz, a big cut, and he got around on it in a hurry. Almost drove it into his own dugout.
The other guy I'll throw into that mix, Peter, just for fun, and he's also somewhere in his 40s. Nobody really knows where. Rafa Flores.
He is his own show.
It's worth the price of admission.
He is his own show. That was reiterated last weekend. Munoz high in the air, carrying, and Nick White is able to make the play.
Well, Peter, last inning it was Quentin Bruce ranging over to his left. This time it's Nick White coming across to his right, and he runs that one down. Some exceptional defense again in the outfield from the Chiefs.
And almost caught it in a very uncomfortable down position. But the job gets done. JDT, though, on the board. It's 5-1 heading to the bottom of the fifth here at the Chiefs Challenge in Simcoe.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience.
JDT First Energy on the board, a RBI single courtesy of Federico Ader as they put together a couple of hits. Their first two, incidentally, of the game as Bradley Ezekiel has a mighty cut. Hill United in front by a score of 5-1, winners of the event last weekend in Mitchell, Ontario. They captured the crown in their first tournament in the middle of May in Kelowna. In the Bear Creek Classic, they were unable to make the playoffs. They were 2-2 and did not grab a semifinal berth in that event. 16-3-1 on the year. As Ezekiel sends that towards the other diamond. Ezekiel has singled and walked, scored a run in the game. A bouncer through the hole between third and short. Ezekiel, one of the game's best hitters for a long, long time.
Well, Peter, that site that you turned me on to, My Stats Online, and again, put out the call to whomever is maintaining that.
There's a laced liner, and Ezekiel has his second hit of the morning.
Just wanted to say, whoever's maintaining that site, A, thank you. B, reach out to me. We'd love to find a way to integrate that into more of the ISC social media. But Bradley Ezekiel, Peter, over the last, I guess, however that site goes back to 2012, by far the most home runs in the World Tournament in that time frame.
And a lot of clutch ones. including one in last year's World Tournament final in Mankato, Minnesota. So the leadoff man aboard for Quentin Bruce. And he had a quality cut on that rise ball from young Carlos Gonzalez, who's gone the whole way. Hill United has been very opportunistic in this one. 5 hits, 5 runs. The last one coming off the bat of Pipolo Lopez, who has 3 home runs now on the weekend. Not the season, on the weekend.
Yeah, he's having a season here this weekend. Peter, just while we got a break in the action here, the B final, Chippewa Chiefs, Toronto Batmen. Now 5-1 for the Batmen as they have come roaring back.
Change up. Cornelius a little trouble finding it, but able to keep it in front of him enough to prevent Ezekiel from any notion of moving up a base. Championship final to follow probably about half an hour after this game comes to a conclusion, depending on what occurs on the other diamond, where the Bear Creek Gremlins are taking on the surprising Sandlot Merchants. It remains 2-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Pretty much tracking the progress in this game.
Sending that away is Quentin Bruce.
Yeah, he wants that pitch back. He gave a little body language, let's call it, to himself. And a couple of pitches here this weekend have gotten away from Quentin that when he reflects back, it's going to be a really good weekend, but he's going to think about a couple of balls that he missed.
This one away to the screen, and that's an easy trot to second for Ezekiel. Now in scoring position for Quentin Bruce, who has 9 runs batted in so far in 2026. Has become a staple of Canada's national team, including this year at the Pan American Championships.
And Quentin now is going to be a guy that the incoming staff is going to look to be a leader and a grizzled veteran in that group. He and Shane Boland are going to be the guys that are going to be the leaders of the pack, because this team, and you and I, Peter, we've talked about this on multiple occasions with the group, it's turning over. We saw how many retirements, half a dozen retirements from the Softball Canada website this year.
Bruce, Ducharme had a look. Makes the smart play to retire. Bruce over at first to a nice piece of hitting from number 52 to advance the base runner to third. Not sure he was trying to give himself up, but those are the little things that can make a big difference in games.
Jamie Simpson out here to have a visit with young Carlos Gonzalez. I haven't seen anybody working down the line, so this is just buying them a bit of time, a reminder about what to do with Matroni. And, well, Simpson is looking into the dugout. Maybe they've had somebody, Peter, out of view. It's entirely possible. We're blocked out down the right field side when it's out of play. If they've been in play, which is normally where they've been, we would see it.
Feels like we could have a change.
They've got Pammy Madzalukwa and Devin McCullough at the ready, or at least at their disposal. McCullough went 5 last night. Madzalukwa finished up with 2.
No change.
Well, that's an extended visit out there by Simpson. I don't know if he's buying anybody time. Like I said, I haven't seen anybody come out of the dugout.
But you're so right. With all the diamonds and there's room, it's not hard to conceive that somebody could be warming up over there in a spot that we can't quite see. Matroni on one hop off Laskowski into the outfield, and it's a 5-run lead again. And Matroni, I would think, credited with a base hit and a run batted in.
Yeah, I would have to think so. That's a ball that you've got to fight the urge as a third baseman to go get. You've got to trust that your shortstop is going to be in position to make that play. We'll see it here as Laskowski is going to come across. No, we won't see it, but Laskowski coming across to his left, and it ticks off his glove. I think Ion is there. He's going to make the play. And we saw it yesterday, too. Nowell Signs deflected one away from Zach Shaw. Ended up costing the Drillers a run.
Drillers did have Blaine Milheim back in their lineup. He did not participate last weekend in Mitchell. The absence of Waymo Mata, never something that Mr. Hackett and company want to endure.
You know, they've got very capable pitchers in Nowell Signs, Julian Rytober, but they're not the caliber of Waymo Mata.
Again, some trouble between pitcher and catcher. As Matroni in scoring position for Tony Gonzalez, who's the team leader and runs batted in with 19. And he was robbed of a base hit by Jonathan Lynch his last time up. Nice drop ball. And it gets Tony Gonzalez. And the batter is Blake Hunter. Blake was hit by a pitch and struck out in his 2 times in the batter's box.
6 strikeout on the morning for Carlos Gonzalez. You can say morning for another few minutes.
I was just about to ask or look myself. A strike called on Blake Hunter. As Hill United gave up a run in the top half, but right back with one of their own in the bottom half. And that drop ball, according to our technology, caught a piece. That almost caught a piece of Blake Hunter.
That's where you want the loose jersey so that it gets clipped and you get the easy HBP.
Blake is in great shape. Worked really hard in the offseason. And again, trouble for Dallas Cornelius, as he and Gonzalez have not always been completely aligned. And Dallas is fighting it a little bit. Blake Hunter stays off of a rise ball up and in. The 39-year-old from Nanaimo, British Columbia. He's homered 3 times, including once right here this weekend. That's a really good pitch from Gonzalez. The rise that tails away from a right-handed batter. The drop missing, out. And now you have called his home runs majestic in nature. I know this. Whatever adjective you want to use, 3 home runs in a weekend is pretty good.
Yeah, he's having a great weekend. Peter, just before we run out of time here, I want to give a shout-out to the umpires.
Lopez laces that. And he's driven in another run. Pipolo Lopez is swinging it here in Simcoe.
Yeah, he is hitting the ball so well. He must be seeing it like a beach ball right now. But I did want to give a shout out to the umpires, Peter. They've all got a black arm patch on their right arm underneath their numbers. It has number 10. That's for Bob Henning, who sadly passed away earlier in the week out in Surrey, British Columbia. Bob umpired in the ISC World Tournament, the ISF World Events, and was one of the nicest guys in a game full of nice people. Connected with Bob back in 2024 when we were out there with the World Tournament in Softball City. I'm sure you would have seen him at the Canada Cups. And
absolutely.
Put up a valiant fight against a terrible disease.
Yes, we've come up with a lot of answers and technology, and boy, you wish there was, and they work at it so hard, but you wish that at some point more cancer could be eradicated. And it claims the lives of so many, and so many before it's time. Which,
yeah, really.
You know, I'm not sure we can decide when it's time or not, but we can definitely decide, really, in many ways, when it isn't. As Khalil Luna walks, the bases are loaded with 2 out, and I guess, again, my condolences to Bob's family and friends. Never easy to segue away from that conversation.
No, it is, and we just wanted to acknowledge that and thank the umpires for their tribute here to Bob Henning this weekend.
Yeah, great touch. So Hill United, with a hit or anything that might score Blake Hunter from third, have a chance to end the game, as they lead it in the bottom of the 5th by, I guess a hit would be required. They lead it 7-1.
Yeah, they need that run at third.
They need that run at third to make it a 7-run difference. Now it could come by way of pass ball, wild pitch.
Well, and I wonder if this was always going to be Gonzalez's game today. No movement from JDT. Couple of walks here this inning, and it's gotten away from Gonzalez a bit. But McCullough, 5 innings last night. Matsaluka, 2 innings in relief, but he pitched a lot during the day as well.
Allen tried to really end it, maybe with a grand slam.
They need 1. He tried to get 4.
So a ball and 2 strikes to Alan Pecker. And every shortened game you play can be important, especially with your pitching staff.
Well, it just saves the wear and tear on the arms. It's not blazing hot, but it is warm out there on the field. We're relatively secluded in shade here behind home plate, but I've walked around the park enough here this weekend to know that it is considerably warmer, especially out on that reflective surface.
So Allen trying to end it for Hill United, and I want to take a second to just thank everyone involved with the Chiefs organization for putting on a great event. I love the tournament format this year. John Hill had a big part to play in the 12 team, the 3 pools. Really liked the setup with the quarterfinals, the semis, and the final to come. The weather has obviously cooperated. Blair, as you know, I was attending to the NHL draft and my regular job duties during the week. On the ground, this will be tough, but the play is made, and the game, as a result, will continue. Hill United continue to extend the lead. They're in front by 6 after 5 in the semifinal game in Simcoe.
catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
Hill United loaded the bases with an opportunity to end the game in the bottom of the fifth with a 7-run rule, but Alan Pecker grounded out to first to end the hope of doing that. So still a chance for JDT, who did score on a couple of hits in inning number 5. And 5-5, Jeff Lyons starts things off for JDT. Lyons able to stay away from a rise ball out of the zone.
Peter, you can't say that JDT haven't had their chances in this game. Base runners in every inning, bar the first.
Where might this game be, Blair, without the Chiefs' defense?
Well, to me, and again, I mentioned it a couple of innings back, the Softball Premier TV turning point is the Blake Hunter double play. If that ball is through, this is a different ball game.
That's hard to argue. And Hill United has made 3 really good plays in the outfield on top of that one, which is the play of this day on this diamond. Schofield into the 6th, which has been somewhat rarefied air for him.
Well, I talked about this yesterday a lot, Peter. The Chiefs have typically gone with 4-5 for the starter and then come with the closer.
Unless it's Diaz.
Well, he went the full 7 in a game yesterday, and then Schofield and he split a game. Schofield and Walsh split a game on Friday.
And it's different this weekend with Tyler Randerson, who, it would appear, unable to perform after a tweak last weekend that forced him out of the game. Jeff Lyons walks. And here comes head coach and general manager Jeff Ellsworth out to the circle. Is he gonna take the ball?
Well, again, I haven't seen anybody down the left side. And again, we are blocked out from the out-of-play side. Nobody is making their way on, and Jeff's headed back to the dugout. But both of these teams look like they're going with these guys.
Guadalupe Aon. He's been hit by a pitch twice in the game. There's JDT with a leadoff man on. Schofield has been in a battle most of the game, but he's been able to win it, and he's had some great help from his defenders. As he comes in to find the strike zone.
Peter, 3-1 for the Gremlins in the other semifinal, so they're getting closer to booking their ticket in the championship game.
Quality swing from Aon. That one literally straight back. With the more regular ISC tournament schedule as opposed to 2025, when a couple of major world events changed things up, moved things around, and shortened the ISC season, you start to wonder how many times the Chiefs and the Gremlins Lions might play. He got hit again.
That's 3 times today, and somebody's barking from the dugout, and they got a dagger stare from Justin Schofield in return. And
now Mike Taylor's into it.
yeah, he's barking a little bit, and Simpson is over to play peacekeeper. A couple of yaps from the Chiefs dugout as well. Shane Boland has decided to make an appearance.
This has Marco Diaz. And now JDT's dugout has started out a little bit.
Schofield is not trying to hit Guadalupe Aon 3 times here in the game. He's trying to work inside, and Aon is over there trying to keep peace from first base. He was just out of your frame.
I'm guessing cooler heads will prevail. And for anyone who thinks otherwise, why on earth in the 6th inning with a 7-1 advantage do you want to put yourself in more trouble?
Well,
you don't.
No, you absolutely don't. And look, I've been on the other side of this. Nobody enjoys getting hit, especially 3 times in one game.
Like,
and
how
yes,
about never?
That becomes a little bit questionable, but come on.
Justin Leskowski, the batter, as we return to play. And we mentioned a potential collision course in a final again today for Hill United and their arch rival, the Bear Creek Gremlins. But, Blair, the way the schedule is set up with the best teams facing one another almost every weekend, these guys are going to be truly sick of one another by the end of the World Tournament.
How good has this summer of fastball been here in Ontario? We're 3 weeks into this 4-week run. We'll get a week off. Then we're into Tavistock, then down to Ashland, where most of the teams are going to go, not everybody out of the top 6. The USA National, and then ultimately the ISC World Tournament. They could potentially have played 10 times by the time we get to the World Tournament.
Yeah, and let's not forget about next weekend in Kitchener, where it's a 5-team field. And they'll all play one another in a round robin. Top 3 make the playoffs. I believe it's the Drillers who are the only kind of, when I think back to the tournament that you put together, I think they're the only team of the 6 who aren't involved that would have been last weekend in Mitchell. They're all here, of course, this weekend in a 12-team event.
Well, despite the best efforts of the Kitchener organizing committee to keep the tournament a secret, somebody has managed to leak the schedule to me. Chiefs will play JDT Friday night, Gremlins Express, and then Batman will take on JDT on Friday. So those are the 5 teams, the Drillers, and they probably need a week off to heal and get better.
Especially William Almada, their star pitcher, is Leskowski. Special hello to his mom and dad and family. Terrific people.
Peter, I mentioned it the other day, and I'll give them a plug again. A great episode with Justin on Outside the Chute with Randy Frame and Chris Hopewell. Give those guys a listen. There's guys all over this field who have appeared on that episode or on an episode.
And there's a nice swing by Leskowski. Knew he had a good pitch to swing at. So 2 on and nobody out in the 6th with a 7-1 lead.
And increasingly looking like it will be the Gremlins, 4-1 now in the bottom of the 6th over top of Sandlot.
Gremlins have lost just 1 game this season. They didn't participate in a tournament prior to the one at the Bear Creek Classic. Their only loss, Championship Sunday in Mitchell, in 8 innings, 3-0 to Hill United on a Bradley Ezekiel 3-run home run in the top of the 8th. as Justin Schofield angrily accepts the ball.
99 pitches here now for Schofield. You see that down in the bottom left of the score bug. Had a feeling he was closing in on 100, and there it is.
And here comes the payoff to Leskowski. Chopped it foul.
Good hands over there by Mike Taylor in the first base coach's box. He was primarily an outfielder, but got that one nicely on the high hop. Little shovel pass to Lopez.
Leskowski and JDT looking for a big rally. And Leskowski draws a walk. And that is potentially the end of the line on this Sunday for Justin Schofield. They'll make a change and bring in the veteran Colin Walsh when we return on Softball Premier TV. A pitching change for the Hill United Chiefs added to their roster this weekend. The veteran Colin Walsh, good Newfoundlander, been around for a long time member of Canada's national team. A real utility player, maybe one of the best in some ways over the years in that category, Blair.
He has really owned the St. John's League the last few seasons. Is the best men's league in Canada. A member of JDT last year and a mutual parting of the ways. I chatted with Colin here yesterday, and he is enjoying being at home on weekends. He's got a couple of young kids in the family. They're getting very active. And it was actually Wednesday when he got the call, hey, can you come this weekend? And he was able to move things around a little bit to be able to make it up here. Still wants to play at the Canadians, but it's going to be few and far between on the tournament scene this year for Colin.
Won another Canadian championship with that great group from Newfoundland last year in Kitchener, and they'll be one of the favorites at this year's Canadian Senior Men's Championship that will start for the senior men August 26th.
Peter, 5+. Sorry, Peter.
No, you go ahead.
5+ innings for Schofield. Just 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, but 5 walks and 3 hit batters, all of them by the name of Guadalupe Ions. So a bit of a messy 5 innings for Schofield.
So Colin Walsh has thrown 2 innings. They came against the Saskatoon Jacks. Gave up a run, 2 hits, struck out 2, and walked 1. And he's not exactly come into a favorable situation. Bases loaded. Jonathan Lynch, Blake Hunter gave chase, but ran out of real estate.
Colin Walsh is pretty unflappable out there on the board. He's faced just about every situation there is to face. Bit of an advantage here, facing Lynch, the lefty.
And another lefty in Ducharme, who will follow. There's the big lean back, and Lynch does well to just get a bat on it.
That'll be the pitch that Walsh will want to throw, that low drop on the outside corner, and he's got a little bit of a natural tail to that drop as well. It's going to move away from Jonathan Lynch.
I guess a screwball action would be more towards the batter, correct? Or would it be
Well,
away?
in theory, the screwball is something that breaks against the natural grain.
Bruno Matroni, and that got a good piece of the bat. And Matroni able to hang on to the foul tip for out number one. So Colin Walsh comes in and gets a key strikeout.
That's a big out for Walsh.
Missing away to Ducharme, who actually delivered the first hit of the game off of Schofield in the fifth. It was a double. And if you're JDT, you need to take advantage of this scenario if you're to give yourself any kind of chance to do to the Chiefs what they did to you a weekend ago when Hill United bounced back from a 6-0 deficit much earlier in the game, however, should be noted. As you know that Hill United, if they can hang on, will very likely start their ace, Marco Diaz, in a title game. On the ground for one, Luna the turn. It won't be in time, so a second run will score, but when you're up by 6, especially in that kind of situation, Blair, you'll take the out.
Yeah, you're just playing for the outs here for Hill United. You've got lots of room to maneuver.
So good hand shown by Tony Gonzalez with the injury to Lenny Villavazzo. Cornelius and Blake Hunter having himself a day at the hot corner. That was clobbered.
Boy, he is just on fire defensively. This is 2 game-saving plays here.
What hands by Blake Hunter. It was hit like a rocket. And a run scored, but it could have been a lot more had it not been for the great glove of Blake Hunter. It's 7-2 going to the bottom of the 6th here in Simcoe.
Watch the game change.
The middle, another base hit for number 4. As Nick White's quality campaign continues.
2 for 4 on the afternoon. A couple of ground balls down to Jeff Lyons in the midst of that. But typically, and Peter, this will be a test of the stats. When Nick White gets on, he typically comes around too.
Brad Ezekiel has a couple of hits in the game. Been on base all 3 times. Scored twice. The familiar waggle above the head. And got around on that, but pulled it foul.
So, Peter, we've got a final in the semifinal. Bear Creek 5-1 winners over Sandlot. They'll finish in a tie for 3rd. Will the Merchants, the Gremlins, will meet the winner of this one in the championship game.
To the surprise of few. A drop ball that Bradley Ezekiel missed, and he's retired for the first time in the game. The emergence, I will call it, of Kuba Osichka has been a game changer early on for Greg Leather's Bear Creek Gremlins.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the game changer right up here. He went 4 2/3 for the Gremlins in that game, and it saves the wear and tear on Jack Bestgrove, who did come on and collect the save.
Osichka has been fabulous against Hill United in his 2 outings against them. He has given up 0.
Well, and we'll see how motivated Jack Bestgrove is after last weekend, too.
Hit hard by Bruce, but it's going to turn into a beautifully executed double play. 4-6-3 to end the 6th. The Chiefs look to end the game and book their ticket to the final of their own tournament, the 2026 Chiefs Challenge. One last crack for JDT. And in so many ways, the score doesn't tell the story in this game.
No, it has been a story of missed opportunity. I totaled up 7 guys left on base for JDT. The chances have been there. Other than the first, they've had base runners aboard every inning.
Hill United has out-hit them 9-2. When you look quickly at that box score, it does look quite reflective, except for 2 fabulous plays by Blake Hunter and 2 or 3 more in the outfield. This could be a very different game, and that box score would look very different.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that JDT will reflect on if the score stays the same.
As Hill United 3 outs away from a third consecutive win this season over JDT. A 7-2 victory here yesterday. And the big comeback last weekend in the semifinal showdown in Mitchell when Hill United trailed 6-0 early and came back to win it 8-6. And of course, we'll have the championship final to follow right here on Softball Premier TV.
I would think it'll be a fairly quick turnaround, Peter. I think both teams will want to get the show on the road.
And Colin Walsh talked about the versatility. Just showed it, fielding the ground ball off the bat of Gendry Torres.
Well, when he's not pitching, Colin plays first base, he plays right field, and very adept with the glove.
So Colin Walsh giving Hill United some quality outs. Remember, when he entered the game in place of the starter, Justin Schofield, in the last inning, the bases were loaded and there was nobody out. Ader has his second hit of the day. Is that one just out of the reach of shortstop Khalil Luna, who, if you missed that off the top, is playing in place of the injured captain and longtime shortstop Shane Boland, unavailable. And not sure he'll be available in the next game if they're able to hang on here and move on.
A bit of a nagging injury for Shane that kept him out this morning.
Munoz will back up Luna for one. Gonzalez on the turn. As Ader is forced. And a pinch hitter. In fact, he joined the Chiefs late in the year, last year, used in a pinch runner capacity. Alejo Gonzalez, just a youngster. I believe he's turning 20 this year. Not a lot of at-bats. I believe he has 6 this year for JDT.
Yeah, he's been used exclusively as a pinch runner in the games that I've seen with JDT here this weekend.
I have him at 0 for 6 on the year overall. Facing Colin Walsh, trying to close it out and give the veteran a lot of credit. Can't imagine he throws back in the league, so it's not like he hasn't had some innings.
No, he's not coming in cold, but like I said, it was Wednesday when he got the call. This was not originally how he was planning to spend his weekend.
No, everything to do with the health of Tyler Randerson. And that will do it. In relief, Colin Walsh gets out of a bases-loaded jam and delivers in the 7th. So Hill United knock off JDT First Energy for a third consecutive time, win it 7-2 in a game where one team took advantage of their opportunities and played great defense, while the other's inability to cash in the difference.
Yeah, absolutely, Peter. A tale of two cities, if you will. And for JDT, it'll be a little bit of reflection on what might have been, but definitely some work to do. For Hill United, one more game here and one more time against a familiar foe.
We'll have it for you in probably a half an hour's time, maybe a little less. I'd take the half an hour, but I don't have a vote. Hill United will have a chance to repeat as Chiefs Challenge champions. That's a holy alliteration, against the rival Bear Creek Gremlins as they meet for a second straight Sunday in a title game. For Blair, Luciano, Carol, Isabella, I'm Peter. So long for now from Simcoe.